You were taught a bunch of lies about health growing up. And the truth is, you need to unlearn these 5 myths that I'm going to go over if you want to have the best physique, energy, and health possible. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the 5 most common health myths and why they are a lie. Because the truth is, there is a lot of misinformation out there, and you need to know what is true and what is false if you want to have the best health and the best life possible. Starting off with number 1, myth number 1, lie number 1, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Now, this is not true because I'm sure you have experienced this before, and I know I experience this every single day. I personally delay my first meal until about 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Why? Because when I do this, I'm doing this right now, by the way, while I'm recording this video. When I do this, my cognition is way stronger because I am not expending energy digesting food. I'm using all of my energy to record this video for you guys, and all of my energy is going towards my brain power. I don't have any brain fog. I'm not wasting energy on digestion, and it is not making me tired, because when we have the most important meal of the day, breakfast, right when we wake up, that takes away all of our primal instincts that we need to go hunt for food. Because hear me out for a second. Back in the hunter-gatherer days and the people that were living in tribes, you need to wake up and you need to go find food. When you are hungry, that gives you energy. When you are hungry, you are on the hunt. Your body is giving you energy, saying, here's energy. We need to go find food. We need to eat. And I myself completely feel this. I have way more energy when I'm hungry, and I have way more drive to do things when I'm hungry. When our stomach is full, we are satisfied. And when our stomach is empty, we have energy. And to be honest, what matters more is the quality of the food that we are eating, not necessarily that we are eating it in the morning. You know what I mean? What matters more is that we are getting enough nutrients and we are getting enough calories, not that we are eating those nutrients and calories in the morning. And to be honest, in America, what is like the standard breakfast? It's pancakes, cereal, processed sausage, eggs. Now, eggs are good, but the cereals, the pancakes, the standard American breakfast is really not ideal if you want to optimize your health and your energy levels, your testosterone as a man. The second lie that you were told is that eating fat makes you fat. Now, this is complete nonsense, because I think we all know that the only way you can get fat is if you are eating in a calorie surplus. Based off of the laws of physics, if you are eating more energy than you are expending, that energy will then go to storage. You can't get fat by eating too much fat. That makes no sense at all. That is like saying you can get fat by eating too much protein. It's the same thing. They're both macronutrients. What matters more is that you are eating in a calorie surplus. That is how you get fat. Now, this is not to say that fats are bad, but we want to have more of the healthy fats and less of the processed fats. For example, we want to be having more meat fats, more eggs, and more avocado. Those are some examples of healthy fats that we should be having. The third lie that you were taught is that calories is all that matters. So calories is all that matters. I want you to imagine we consume 500 calories of soda and we consume 500 calories of steak. Now, imagine how differently that is going to hit our bodies. It's going to hit our energy, our blood sugar, our hunger completely differently. Because when we are consuming 500 calories of soda, that is basically just sugar and carbs. That's all it is, and other processed garbage. But when we are consuming steak, 500 calories of steak, that has protein, so that is actually going to fill us up. It has micronutrients that our body needs, so we will be less hungry when we are eating that because our body is getting what it actually needs. So 500 calories of soda and 500 calories of steak is not the same at all. It is completely different. So if you go by this logic that calories is all that matters, you could basically just eat garbage all day long, and then your health would be absolutely atrocious because you think that calories is all that matters. Of course, calories matter, but if we are trying to lose weight, for example, the quality of the food matters way more, and that will decide if you can stick to it. Because if we are trying to eat on a calorie deficit and lose weight with processed garbage or processed foods, our bodies will be way more hungry, and we just cannot stick to that diet. That is why eating clean on a deficit is so important, and it is so much easier to do it that way. Now, the fourth lie that you were told is that carbs should be the base of your diet. Now, this lie was taught to the public when the government released what was called the food pyramid. This is what the food pyramid looks like. Yes, this is a real thing. It is absolutely insane. But basically, as you can see, carbs are at the base of what you should be eating. So carbs is at the bottom of the pyramid. So that means you should be eating the most of them out of any other food. And as you can see, there's like bread and grains in this picture. Now, I don't know about you, but this seems like an awful idea. Like, what do you think will happen if you eat this way? Yes, your energy levels will suck. You will get fat. You will feel like shit. And it is absolutely disgusting that the government released this to the public and said, eat like this. Because what happened since the government released this? Obesity is up to 74%. 60% of people have a disease in the country. Things only got worse. So some good advice is if you turn this pyramid upside down and invert it, that is how you should be eating. Basically, just do what the opposite of what the government is telling you in this situation. This is insanity. And then you look and you go and say, okay, so what are the carbs? What are the most common carbs in America? What are the most common carbs in an American grocery store? And we have things like bread with this many ingredients, packed full of shit. We have cereal, highly addictive cereal with red 40, dyes, sugar, shit ton of carbs. What else do we have? Pancakes, sugary drinks. Basically, almost all carbs in America are heavily processed, except for the things like potatoes and rice. That is pretty much it, and maybe some oats here and there. But those three things that I just listed are basically the only clean carbs that you can be eating, aside from fruit. These four things, fruit, potatoes, rice, and some oats, those are literally the only four clean carbs that exist in America. And then all of the other carbs are packed full of shit ingredients. And then the US government goes and says, eat more of this shit. So, and they also have steak and eggs towards the top saying eat less in moderation. This is absolutely insane. Don't get me wrong, carbs aren't bad, but processed carbs are bad. The fifth and final myth that you were taught growing up is that red meat causes heart disease. Red meat raises your cholesterol. Now, this one is just as foolish as the last one, because if we think back to the hunter-gatherer days, back when people were living in tribes and people were going on a hunt to catch their food, what do you think that they were saying? Do you think that they were saying this? Do you think that they were saying, okay, guys, on this hunt, we can't catch any animal meat because it will give us heart disease and it will raise our cholesterol? That just sounds insane. We're going to go hunt for berries and rice. No. Do you think that when they caught the bison, that they were saying, okay, guys, we have to have a little bit of this because it might clog our arteries and give us heart disease? This is absolutely insane. If you believe this in 2026, what are you doing? There is no possible way that red meat can cause heart disease. Now, if you go and look this up on Google, you will see that it will say that this is true. But those are studies that were not done in a correct way. Those are studies that looked like people consuming meat with an ultra-processed food diet. For example, red meat in the form of a fast food burger. Of course that is going to cause heart disease. Of course that is bad for you. You would not believe the ingredients that are in fast food these days. So of course that is what they found, but they did not do the study correctly. There is so much misinformation out there that you guys need to be aware of this. Me personally, I got my cholesterol checked after eating like 10 eggs a day, a pound of meat per day, and it was completely normal. So this is just absolutely insane, guys. Please never believe this. always make sure you are consuming a good amount of red meat and eggs. So that is the 5 lies that you were told. Now that you are aware of these lies, I want you to apply these. Start having more red meat. Start having less processed carbs. Fat does not make you fat. Breakfast is not the most important meal of the day. Try this one. Eat at 11 and see how much energy you have up until that point. Fast until 11. Try it. And calories is not all that matters. So I hope you guys learned something from this video, and I hope you're going to apply what I say. Go check out my YouTube channel. I have a ton of other videos there explaining all kinds of health concepts, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.